And I wanted to ask you, when you first began your academic career, how was it that you got your first grant?
Okay, so it wasn't easy because it wasn't like right now when new faculty they come and ask you for your grants. Okay, can you give me a copy of your successful ones? Can you give me a copy of the ones that were not successful? Can you give me a copy? And at least you have an idea of how to write a grant, right? In my case, I didn't have anybody that I could look at their grants, and it was a little hard. I had no idea. So what I tell people is, you have to look at the instructions, and they're very specific instructions. If you can't follow instructions, you're never gonna get anything, because the very first thing is that they look, if they say 15 pages, it's not 15 in one line, it's 15 pages. If they say, in the CV, you have to list your 5 references, 5 publications, it's not 6 or, it's 5. So if you do it by the instructions, then, at least you have your foot on the door. When I was gonna start here, I negotiated, some startup funds, but there was no way I could buy the equipment that I needed to do my research. And back then was a Banbury type mixer, and it was about $150,000, and there was no way I was gonna get that. So the very first thing, I found out is that I could write grants to buy equipment. So that's what motivated me to buy it. And you have to, come up with innovative ideas to put in the grant. And you, of course, have to have the background, have proven that you have the background to manage the equipment. I am not the type of person that if they don't give me the resources, I stop there. So if they don't give me the resources, I look for the way to do what I want to do. So I wasn't given the startup, so I look for a way to do it. Back then, being fair to everybody that's coming in right now, back then nobody was writing grants for MRI, and you can only submit 2 per institution. So back then I didn't have to fight internally to be the one that will go. So I just submitted the grant and I was given the spot.
Wow, so this is about opportunity too.
Yes.
It was perhaps a great timing, but not just because it was lucky for you. I mean, it was because nobody had done it. This was something that you needed. So you were driven by the need and necessity.
Yes.
And then you just did it. And how long did it take you to write your first grant?
Oh, the first grant, it took me, like each grant that I write, it takes me like 3 or 4 months. So it's a long process. So there's a lot of nights that you don't sleep. It's a lot of reading. It's a lot of, polishing. So it took me a long time. And
did you get it your first time?
I got it on my first time.
Wow.
So I actually started working here January the 2nd of 2000. The grant was due January 25th. But I started writing the grant in September 30th when I knew I was going to be hired. So at night, I would write the grant when I was doing my postdoc. And I did a lot of the writing before I came. So when I came, I submitted like January 20th, and then I got notified like in April that I was going to be given the grant. And then right after I submitted, I started working on the career grant. The career grant was due July. And I knew that I didn't want to work that summer, so I didn't teach, I didn't do anything, I didn't receive any salary, and it was hard. But I didn't receive any salary at all because I wanted to concentrate on getting the career. So I did concentrate, I wrote, I thought it was a nice one, but the career, you have 3 chances to apply in your lifetime as a tenure track. And then usually you don't get it on the first one. And I got it on the first one. So I applied in July, something was due. And in December, I received a call from NSF that I had been given the Career Award. And that's one of the most prestigious awards for any scientist. Yeah, and I was teaching, when you come, back then you were teaching 4-4. So you're teaching 4 classes, you're applying, you're writing a proposal for the Career Award. And then the fun starts when they grant you the Career Award. You still have to teach 4-4, and now you have to write papers, you have to educate, have students in the labs, you have to write reports to NSF, and still you have to teach all your stuff, and then you still have to teach, write other grants, because you cannot stop, okay, I get the career, now I'm not gonna do anything for 5 years.
What was it that kept you motivated even to think, before you got hired, I'm going to start this grant process? Was this something, advice that your mentor had given you?
I think, okay, this is, I guess, the question that I have not been asked, but I think, thinking a little bit, okay, it's an inner drive, right? I was the only woman in the department, and it's hard sometimes, like, then, I will be in the meetings, but I will not participate in any of the meetings because I'm like a chain. Then you develop, when I graduated from the university as my college degree, my self-esteem was very high. It's like, I'm a mechanical engineer, I can do anything, right? Because everybody keeps telling you, oh, engineers, oh, you're probably very smart, so your self-esteem kind of rises. Then I go to Rice University as a master's student, and then you start realizing that you just know that you know nothing, because then you open up something and it's like, this is super complicated, this is not something that I'm used to deal with. Okay, now I'm talking about atoms, I'm talking about quantum effects, I'm talking about stuff that I have never seen. So now you feel super extremely dumb, and I think, having that ability to play with your humility or your ego, right? So then when you feel so low, I felt that the same way all the time. So my husband will tell me, well, you're not dumb, you're smart, you're here. It's like, no, I don't understand, everybody understands it. And then when I graduated and I came here, I still felt dumb. So then you need to have, I had that inner drive to prove to myself that I could do the stuff. What I am now is that I have learned to accept that it's okay, that I don't have to work 24/7, but that I can have some time for me. But it has been hard. My kid says, well, you don't have a hobby, you don't have friends, you don't have but it's true. I guess you put so much into them, my family, and then my work, right? So for me it's them and this. But I think also is that okay, it's there and I know I can get it. But and I'm just going to work very hard, and then you want to prove to others that you can be asked a question because you're worth it, right? Because you have earned your space, so you have earned your spot, but not just because, oh, you're a woman, so let's give you a chance. So the recipe for success, it's hard work. It's not like you follow your passion and you feel like everybody will say. It's like, it's hard work. You're going to follow passion is an emotion, so you're not going to follow it. You're going to follow an opportunity that will take you to where you want to go. But that path is going to be full of cliffs and mountains and lakes, and it's not going to be easy to get there. But if you start following a passion, at the very first struggle, you're going to say, oh, I'm not happy because I'm not, this is not my passion because I'm struggling. So then you switch to something else, and then so you never achieve anything because you have that in your head that you're following happiness. And then innovation, you always have to be innovating. So look where the problems are to find a solution, and that's, I think, the key. When you write a proposal, you have to look at where that space is that you can put your knowledge in there and try to find a solution. So if you just go with, I tell my faculty when I mentor them, if there's a university that has already done, let's say, nanofibers, right? Somebody's already here doing a lot of nanofibers. Why are you going to start at the end of the mountain or at the, just chasing them? By the time you get there, they're going to be here. So all the funding is going to be always for them, right? So use a platform, that will take you there with a shortcut, right? So if you have knowledge in this area, well, use it as a trampoline so you can jump and be with them and then chasing the money. But you don't want to start all the way at the bottom because you admire something that somebody else is doing. I want to see synergy, right? Where everybody, the efforts of everybody are going to have something better, right? But not where, the efforts of everybody are going in different directions and we never solve the problem. So we have to use the trampolines, and those trampolines are our specific knowledge. The opportunities are there, for the faculty. They have to look for the proposals, they have to look for the calls, they have to talk to people that have done it. Now there's a lot of people, the university has grown, so there's a lot of people out there that have written proposals, that have successful, not successful, so they can always go and ask.